опыт работы.
Dancers, no? And so I chose only the top part of the dancers, basically the arms, the torso, and the neck. So I created a pas de deux with a robot and the dancer completely synchronized using the same mapping, no? The same choreography, basically. No? And I put them together on stage. So that was my first experience working with robot and with the mechanic. So I tried to make the KUKA robot more human, you know, like it had a camera that, you know, like a cyclops that can see what's happening on stage.
Which year was this?
This was shown with a premiere in Signet Art in the year 2001.
Wow.
So
10 years ago.
10 years ago, that's right.
Wow.
And then the next step, I created a dance trilogy called the Umani Corporis Fabrica, with its 3 full evening works. And I had it very clear because it had to do with Andreas Vesalius' anatomical study of the body. You know, that was the first guy who actually had the guts in that time.
The anatomical theater.
Yeah, to open the body and study what we are made of. You know? And at that time it was dangerous. You would get killed by doing this. So I dedicated a whole trilogy to this anatomical study. And I had very clear at the very beginning, before I started, that the last image and the last piece had to be just a robot on stage. So I did the Umani in 2002, then Corporis in 2003, and then Fabrica in 2005. And I had a robot designed by Louis-Philippe Demers, which he created a fantastic machinery which you hang on the ceiling, and it has 9 joints. It's an abstract kinetic sculpture, basically.
Quite quasi-organic in a way, because it's
a rhythmic machine. It's like and it's a dance machine. You know, you can use it in many ways. You know? We could map sounds to every joint and create sounds with this, and create rhythms. And then and the last image of Fabrica, this robot comes on stage. And then the next step was I wanted to do specifically a choreography for a machine on stage, no longer with dancers. And then I was invited in Berlin to the Transmediale to create this in Tesla Berlin in 2006. I worked there 2 months just creating a choreography for this machine, basically using Max MSP, and then with Frida Weiss we used Calypso to create an installation, to map the sounds, and so it became an installation with the robot and with the sound track of Francisco Lopez, which was at the end it became something very nice because we juxtaposed the machine to a very organic ambient. No, the whole sound was based on the jungle sounds, you know, in Brazil. You know that Francisco Lopez has a line of work which is taking audio samples of organic life and manipulating them. So we had this contradiction between a machine that is moving, it looks like an animal, and you have the sound of jungle, and you're constantly thinking, is this an organic being or is it a machine? And it asks questions in your head. You know?
So we can say then that your work plays itself in that. You know, I really related a lot when I saw it the first time, even with, you know, with Stellarc, even if you don't work directly with prosthetics, but also it's this question of, you know, the human machine and some kind of idea of evolution, you know, towards, you know, the mechanic or the cybernetic or.
Yes, but my main concern was not to put the dancer beneath technology, not to restrict its freedom. On the contrary, that you know, I don't work with cables or something that hinders the movement. I'm still work very much
almost purist with
very very pure, basically to push to the limits the possibilities of the combinations possible with our joints, you know, or joint limitations of our professional dancers, and working also a lot choreographing space. So I'm not restrained to just dancing in the center, but I really use space, and I synchronize all this with videos to create a rhythmic space. So the whole space has to be vibrating. I think the choreography is not a term only for bodies, to choreograph bodies, but to choreograph machines, to choreograph a whole room. Using video, I use neon lights that come on stage and go, or a robot that comes in, and I synchronize the videos. I work a lot with videos, millimetrically with the rhythms on stage. So the dancer is the main actor in a stage, but it's synchronized. It's all in movements. It's like our planets in relationship to.
And then, like I heard you talking about, this idea of kind of going back to the machine, this kind of completing some kind of loop, that probably notating through some kind of, technologies or new media platforms, what you have done, kind of go back and transduce back again to software.
Yeah. Well, this 10 years of working with the software, this was a very painstaking, lots of hours in front of the computer doing it by hand, feeding all these algorithms to the software. It was really too time-consuming work. And then I spent a year in a residence called Artists in Labs, whereby in Switzerland, in Zurich, where they chose some artists to spend one whole year in a laboratory. In my case, it was the Artificial Intelligence Laboratory of the University of Zurich. And they work with robots there. They wanted me to actually work with robots, but these robots were ridiculously small, with just 2 joints. And so I thought I was attending lectures on artificial life, and then it was. Suddenly it opened up a whole world of what's going on in the universities in this field. And I thought, well, the time is ripe that a computer or a software that one can build it that can actually create a whole choreography by itself. So I withdrew myself, so to speak, as a choreographer one further step, in that we created a set of rules, based on Lindenmayer system or random kinematics. The software worked out all the limitations of professional dancers, of their joints, and it just builds, it generates patterns automatically by one click. So this is the principle based on the choreographic machine that I presented here. So this is the epitome of all this process, is that now a software gives information to another software to create a choreography for a dancer.
That would be if you're using processing
to tell life forms, to generate a whole sequence, and it's infinite what you can do. Now we're working with Lindenmayer system or fractals to generate choreographies and random kinematics to regenerate random patterns of movement. At the beginning it was based on all the libraries I'd built over the years. I would choose from all the libraries and build a new choreography, and now it's doing it directly.
It's generative,
but independently of libraries or whatever.
And that is applied just to the joints. And what happened with the relationships, still the relational aspect in choreography with one dancer to another? That's what I think is one of the strengths of what we are seeing with the synchronous objects, for example, here, that creates the counterpoints, and when one dancer is doing this. And
no, this is at the moment where I'm using this as for the individual dancer. I don't work in this with software with a group dancer. There's where the job of the choreographer comes in, how to organize all this information into a choreography. The dance language is established by the by the software, the timing established by the software, and when you pass it on to the body, naturally by the dancer also. And all this is organized with the videos, with whatever comes on stage. This is where I
your director role
when I choreograph the whole the space and the time, so to speak.
Well, thank you very much. You have done a lot. So, and we already have 20 minutes. And I said, like a short one. But thank you so much, and we will illustrate this with some videos of your work that you have some in Dance Tech, you know, like you are a member of Dance Tech from the beginning. And and now, the future, what do you think? Because we are in this really interesting time.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I am more and more interested in going deeper into this field of this idea of choreographing space.
Mm-hmm.
And my main concern now is, I don't know if I should say it, but, is this idea of creating a dance notation.
Yeah.
I have the feeling, you know, ballet have survived from passing on sort of like from mouth to mouth, from generation to generation, a set of movements and stagings. And that's how we know what ballets in the 19th century looked like. No? But for example, we've lost how Nijinsky moved. You know, how we're losing how fantastic dancers, the quality of movements that they had, how they move, how they express themselves. This we have lost, we just have some photos. So my dream from more than 10 years ago is how to capture this and fix it. At the time I thought that hologram technology, something in 3D, would be possible. And now it's how to find out how to create a notation that goes beyond video. No? This is the only notation system that we really have nowadays.
Yeah, kind of like to register and record it and archiving in a way.
An archive of whole choreographies, you know, of complex choreographies and of individual dancers, of their quality of movements.
Yeah. Well, you know, like good luck. I think there's, you know, we're seeing that there are a lot of advances in different approaches to this idea of memory and retrieving and keeping and preserve choreography. So
Thank you, Marlo.
let's keep the conversation going.
Okay. Good.
Okay.